Hey everyone, it's time again to recap the latest news from the solar PV industry, compiled by the American Solar Energy Society. I'm Jay Warmke with SolarPVTraining.com, and this is what's happening in the wonderful world of solar for the week of October 26th. Now, despite significant policy headwinds imposed by the Trump administration, new electrical generating capacity from renewable energy continues to significantly outpace that produced from fossil fuel sources. In the past 12 months, power generated from wind, solar, and batteries increased by over 55,000 megawatts. Generation from fossil fuels actually declined by 1,400 megawatts during the same time period. Solar and batteries accounted for 82% of all new power added to the grid. Generation from natural gas actually grew by a modest 3,300 megawatts since last October, but this growth was offset by a decline in generation from coal and petroleum-based fuels. Energy regulators and executives are warning that the build-out of artificial intelligence data centers has significantly increased the risk of electricity disruptions and blackouts. Panelists at a conference hosted by the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, or FERC, emphasized that the large-scale energy consumption of AI data centers presents challenges to both the supply and demand sides of electricity generation. The expansion of AI has led to a significant increase in the amount of electricity consumed by data centers. Unlike residential and commercial electricity usage that fluctuates, large data centers draw massive, centralized, and constant power around the clock. This creates a significant and persistent strain on the grid, increasing the risk of blackouts during peak demand periods or extreme weather. The Department of Energy issued a report in July that raised concerns about grid reliability, driven by increased risks from factors like the increased demand from AI data centers, fossil fuel power plant retirements, and extreme weather. The DOE projects a 100-fold increase in outage risk by 2030 without significant action taken by grid operators. If this is true, this will mean an average of 2.5 hours of power outages each day for the average customer connected to the grid. The North Carolina Clean Energy Technology Center released its third quarter 2025 edition of the 50 States of Solar. This report identified 3 trends in state solar policy. The first is that utilities continued to transition away from net metering as we knew it. States and utilities continue to expand community solar. And the third trend was that states are now responding to the loss of federal incentive funds. States, primarily through their public utilities commissions, continued to chip away at the net metering compensation, lowering the amount paid to those with solar arrays who feed excess energy to the grid. The states also continued the expansion of community solar projects. Now, this is where electric customers can essentially buy into a large solar development and allocate the production from their portion to their electric bill rather than having to put panels on individual rooftops. While these 2 trends have been highlighted in past reports, a new trend emerged where states have begun expanding their financial incentives to compensate for the reduced incentives at the federal level. For example, Illinois regulators have moved to lock in federal clean energy dollars before they disappear. The Illinois Commerce Commission approved a major expansion of their long-term renewable resources procurement plan last week, doubling capacity for small-scale community and commercial solar projects, and authorizing new competitive procurements for utility-scale development ahead of the investment tax credit phase-out. Illinois currently ranks among the top 5 states nationwide for community solar, with more than 700 megawatts installed and hundreds more in development. And in the I'll believe it when I see it department, Amazon announced a series of deals touting its plans to install small modular nuclear reactors near data centers in Washington state. The company announced it will deploy 12 small modular nuclear reactors capable of generating 960 megawatts on a footprint equivalent to a few city blocks. Data centers and nuclear advocates have been touting these SMRs as the answer to the anticipated electrical demand surges due to power-hungry AI applications. Others argue that the demand surge will take place in the next 5 to 10 years and that SMR technology is still in its early stages of development and has not been commercially deployed. The Amazon announcement targets construction to begin in 5 to 7 years and will not be producing power until 2039. And that is the news from the solar industry for this week. We'll see you next week.